Has anyone noticed how a lot of people just like to talk for the sake of hearing themselves talk? I do it because my voice is sexy, just like me. That's right. Look at that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, a lot of people like to talk just to hear themselves talk, and that's a little bit unfortunate because at the end of the day, I feel like both companies, Microsoft and Sony, have positives and negatives, but a lot of times people want to put the doom and gloom on everything Xbox does. A good example of this is I don't see anybody talk about Call of Duty Vanguard, Battlefield 2042, or whatever the hell that game was, or anything like that. Nobody says those games are dead, it's over, they should stop doing those games, those franchises are done. They're done. They're failed. It's over. Nobody says that about either of those franchises. And why not? Right? They judged Halo like that, and we got some Halo news and some other leaks that came out that prove Microsoft knows what they're doing. If they're a little bit slow at kind of doing what they're trying to accomplish, I agree. But they really are, to be honest with you, ahead of the curve in a lot of other ways. Now, of course Battlefield's not doomed. Of course Call of Duty's not doomed. Modern Warfare 2 this year is going to be incredible, and it's going to do probably huge numbers, probably the biggest Call of Duty of all time. What happened? Vanguard was a misstep. You also have to look at Battlefield 2042. Getting these games out during a pandemic on time, you're going to be almost in a cyberpunk situation. Microsoft even delayed Halo Infinite a year, and still, I mean, it launched fine, but I think that content needed to be ready already, right? They already needed to have, Forge ready for 3 months later, co-op ready for 3 months later, or, have Forge ready for 6 months later, and have co-op ready for, 3 months later, whatever. Have maps ready. They needed to have that stuff exponentially done before they launched it. So that's on Microsoft for screwing that up. But everybody's quick to point out that Halo is dead, right? Despite the fact that Halo itself, Halo Infinite, is actually ahead on the most played Xbox list, top 50. It's actually ahead of Vanguard and Battlefield 2042. Battle 2042 isn't even in the top 50. I mean, it's ahead of a lot of games, but people like to bring up the Steam charts and things like that. I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Why would people on a PC care about Halo? PC gamers tend to always do and play the same things. They might play something new for a couple weeks, but then they're going to go back to their Counter-Strikes and Team Fortresses and Dotas and whatnot. That's what they do, right? So yeah, we have this weird situation where we got this leak that came out. It's looking good for Microsoft. It's looking good for Halo. It's looking bad for the people that are claiming that Halo's dead or that Microsoft is doomed. Doomed! They're not doomed, by the way. So let's get into it. I've always wondered why people are so quick to kind of cast off and cast aside Microsoft and just claim that they're done and finished and doomed and things like that. Clearly, they're not perfect. No company is. All these companies are after money, but I think they have to have the consumer somewhat in their minds. Like when people say that Microsoft are going to do low-quality games for Game Pass, I scratch my head a bit because Microsoft is in this to make money, and you're not going to make money by having low-quality content in your service. You have to have high-quality content. And so, yeah, I don't always agree with a lot of what the pundits are saying. But one thing is, Halo isn't doing amazing, but it's far from dead the way that a lot of people are kind of trying to make it out to be. So now we have some some idea of what is coming for Halo, right? Halo Infinite looks like it's going to be getting a Battle Royale, and it's going to be bringing back OG Halo 2 and Halo 3 maps, which are fan favorites, of course. This is going to be really good news and exciting for players that are looking to jump into Halo or maybe back into Halo. According to this, the long-rumored Halo Infinite Battle Royale mode is real and is releasing in the fall of 2023 at the earliest. In other words, it's not releasing anytime soon. Adding to this, it's claimed that the mode will have tiered loot drops like most Battle Royale modes and be 60 players. Unlike most Battle Royale modes which opt for 100 or more players, where the rumors get particularly interesting here is where it claims that the map will at least partially be comprised of OG maps from the series past. Getting slightly more specific, the rumor, which comes from someone with some insider knowledge, claims that at least one map from Halo 2 and Halo 3, we say slightly more specific because there are no precise details on which two maps. Coupling this is claimed by the person that the corporate gridlock is weighing down development and slowing down the pipeline. In addition to this, 343 Industries is in fact supposedly still trying to figure out how to make a live service game, having minimal experience with it before Halo Infinite. Unfortunately, this is the extent of the information provided, and the game's rumored Battle Royale mode, of course, what is here should be taken with a grain of salt, as not only is everything here unofficial, but if it's even accurate, it's of course subject to change. Listen, Halo Infinite is obviously going to be a game that's going to be looked at by different groups of people differently, and that shouldn't really come as a surprise. Now, the main kind of point that I would make is that Halo Infinite itself is a really good game just as the way that it launched, right? Like, I'm not going to BS anybody or anything like that. I think that they did a really good job with the launch of that, and, I think that where they dropped the ball was not having the content ready in time to kind of, release things, and clearly not being able to have, the co-op hurt and things like that. I think, not having the idea on what to do with the live service game, I think they should have had all those plans well in place before, the game actually dropped. It's really unfortunate that these type of things happen, but again, I still feel like Microsoft has a good idea, and they can write this. They can write the ship. I mean, listen, Halo Infinite was almost basically a live service even before this. So the fact that so many people are like unhinged by the fact that, Halo Infinite is going the live service route, listen, it was already basically that, even beforehand. So yeah, things are always going to be in flux and kind of changing around and things like that. But the important thing that I like to kind of point out is that, Microsoft at the end of the day is a smart company, and they know what they're doing. So when it comes down to things like this, I just really feel like, they're going to be able to kind of get things out in at some point. And people don't like to hear excuses, and I totally agree with that and understand with that. But sometimes there are excuses, It's like I was on Crossfire Podcast the other day, and we started talking about, the pandemic and stuff. And somebody's like, there's no excuses for Microsoft not having games, etc., but said that the pandemic is real and it affects everybody. So how can it be both those things, and then not affect it? If it can affect the Sony, it can affect Microsoft. You know what I mean? They're just delaying games at different particular junctures. But I do feel like, even with Halo, there's going to be people that want to play this, right? Like, Halo is a fun game, it's a good game. I just feel like, you got to be able to give it a little bit of time. And people, I totally understand, hate waiting. Like, that is an unmitigated fact. People hate waiting. Patience is not gamers' strong suits, and I understand. But I think sometimes that as fans, we have to kind of, let people chill. We got to let these companies work on what they're trying to work on. And, I think that if we do that, I think we'll be in a much better spot going forward. Listen, Halo Infinite definitely needs content, and it's not perfect, but I also feel like it is a game that has tremendous potential. And when I saw everybody talking it up well before it launched and during the tech tests and things like that, I know that it's fun. It just needs the content that's going to bring people into it or bring people back, and they can definitely do that. They just need to kind of put the foot down and start doing it. If you're going to have a live service game, you're going to have to bust butt and get these things done. It's unfortunate that this kind of stuff happens, but I feel like they can recover from it. It's just going to take them a little bit of time. And there's other games like Rainbow Six Siege and multiple other games that did this and ended up being incredibly successful. So anyway, with that being said, are you guys planning to go back to Halo at some point? Do you guys feel like they let it down? Is Halo dead to you? Is Call of Duty dead? Is Battlefield dead? Let me know. If you do enjoy the video, please leave a like on it, as it helps the video to be seen and the channel to grow. Have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thank you so much for watching. Crap Gamer out.